So I think something like Toronto Community Housing Corporation has to be restructured completely, broken up. They are a landlord, and we've given them all these social responsibilities. So I'd like to see them go back to being a good landlord. Let's get the places cleaned up. Let's get them to be much more effective at the job they do as landlord. And let's get the nonprofits to be in there and caring. So the communication between the nonprofits and something like Toronto Community Housing has to be there. So we need to create more relationships, stronger relationships between them. But we've got to get them into where they're very good, Toronto Community Housing, into where their responsibility lies, and give the responsibility to the nonprofits that are doing such a good job. We've got to stop the division between the city and the nonprofits. We've got to work with them and say, you know what, they're better at it. When we go into it, we always mess up. Let's just admit that and move forward from there. And work as, this is a great example, Toronto Arts Council. We worked very, very closely with the city, but they're arm's length. The city doesn't mess with their management. When the city starts messing with the management, you get all the problems that happen. So we get the management out there. The city oversees, but they don't mess with the management. They let them do their job. I tend not to be the type of person that alienates anyone. And I found over the last few years, there's the core Miller group, and then there's the rest. I don't believe you run a city like that. I don't believe you alienate anyone. There are people out there that were kind of put out of the group that shouldn't have been. They have really good skills, and they weren't used to their potential. So that's where I'm not strongly right, I'm not strongly left. I like to say I'm, fiscally conservative and socially liberal. So I don't have a political agenda. I'm more of a, let's roll up our sleeves, let's get to work and move the city forward. There's a lot of bravado that happens at City Council, and that has to be stopped. We have to get to work instead of, because there's a press gallery there putting on a show, we have to stop that kind of thing. I would love to see more women on council in the boardrooms. I've seen when you get at least 30% women, the dynamic changes. Instead of the bravado and the top dog that does go on in a boardroom, you get more sensibility, you get more, let's focus on the work, let's get rid of that. So I'd like to see a higher element of women there. And I'm encouraging people when I go door to door, if there's a smart woman in your riding, please, I need her on council, so please vote for her. So that's key to me. It's not just, there are differences between men and women that we have to recognize. Women do change the dynamic in a boardroom and in council, and we need that. The opportunity, let's put it as, instead of an asset, an opportunity for us, is the fact that we haven't been listening to them. And once we open the doors and we start listening, how do you want your community? Do you want a cricket field? Do you want a football field? What do you want in your community? And there are communities that never use their baseball diamonds. Why is that? They don't play baseball there. Yet our planners gave them a baseball diamond. So that kind of dysfunction between City Hall and community has to stop. We have to open the doors. Before the planners do anything, they have to consult the people, rather than after they have the plans. Right now, they make the plans and they try and pitch them to the people. That's got to stop. They've got to go to the people and say, what do you want? And then make the plans and then go back to them. The more that they know that they're being heard, the more people will come out. For years and years, they've realized you come out and you want to put your idea there, and then you realize, hold on, nobody's really listening. So why do I bother? And that's happened for years and years and years. So we have to actually change that. When people know they'll be heard, more people will come out, because it's not a waste of time. Right now it is. Expanding it to Downtown Relief Line, out to the airport, out to Scarborough, and a line up to York University. Key lines that we need to put in right away. To do this, it's roughly 58 kilometers over the next decade. To do this, I've suggested rush hour tolls on the DVP and Gardiner. They'll bring approximately $400 million to $500 million into the city coffers. Provincial funding, I think we can win it back with a better plan. The province has heard the complaints that we've heard here in the city from community associations and business associations, all saying, we don't want an LRT on Eglinton. This could destroy Eglinton. So I think if we go back to the province, we can push this as a great alternative plan for them to fund and get that $4 billion back. private developers and businesses, we need to change the zoning along the transit corridors. The private developers, I've met with them, have said, we don't want to take the risk right now. Create it so we don't have to take the risk on the zoning. Pre-zone these transit corridors. So I believe that's the first step we have to do along Eglinton, along St. Clair, up Yonge Street. Once we pre-zone them, we can get the development we need to increase the densities, and that's key to cover our operating costs. Going out to areas that we're looking at getting the LRT and talking to the businesses, the people living there, the communities, associations, and all of them said we would rather invest in subways than have this LRT cut through our business area.